Before you sleep tonight, listen carefully because this message may not be an accident. Maybe God wanted you to hear these words at this exact moment. There was a young man living in Chicago who woke up every morning, put on a smile, grabbed his coffee, and drove to work like everything in life was perfectly normal. But inside, he was falling apart. Nobody knew about the anxiety attacks he suffered. Nobody knew he cried in his car during lunch breaks. And nobody knew he stayed awake almost every night asking himself, why does my life feel so empty? On social media, people believed he was successful because he had a nice apartment, a good salary, and perfect-looking pictures. But the truth was completely different. He felt lost, and slowly he began losing faith, too. One cold night after work, while driving home through heavy rain, his car suddenly stopped near a small church. He tried starting the engine again and again, but nothing worked. Frustrated and emotionally exhausted, he stepped outside and stood in the rain feeling completely broken. That was when he noticed the church door slightly open. For some reason, he decided to walk inside. The church was almost empty, with only a few candles glowing softly in the darkness. An older man sitting near the front quietly looked at him and said, "I've been praying for whoever walks through that door tonight." The young man froze. Then the stranger said something even more powerful. "God sees the pain you hide from everyone else." Tears immediately filled the young man's eyes because nobody knew how tired he truly was. Nobody knew he had been silently begging God for a sign. And maybe that is why you are listening to this right now, because many people today, especially in America, are silently struggling too. People smile in public while secretly battling depression, loneliness, stress, and fear about the future. Some are surrounded by others, but still feel completely alone inside. Maybe lately you have been asking yourself, God, are you even listening? But just because heaven feels quiet does not mean God has abandoned you. Sometimes God works silently before the biggest changes happen. A seed stays buried underground before it grows into something beautiful, and maybe your breakthrough is growing in places you cannot see yet. There was a single mother in California working 2 jobs just to survive. One night, she sat on her kitchen floor, crying after opening another stack of unpaid bills. Feeling exhausted, she looked up and whispered, "God, I can't carry this anymore." The very next morning, she received a phone call she never expected. A company she had applied to months earlier offered her a better job with higher pay and flexible hours. Later, she said, "I thought God forgot me, but he was preparing the answer while I was crying." And maybe that is happening in your life too. Sometimes delays are not punishment. Sometimes closed doors are actually protection. Sometimes God says not yet because something better is coming. The relationship you lost, the opportunity that disappeared, or the painful season that broke your heart may actually be God protecting your future. One day you may look back and thank him for prayers he did not answer. Right now, someone listening feels emotionally exhausted. You have been strong for too long, helping everyone else, encouraging everyone else, and smiling for everyone else while secretly feeling empty yourself. At night, your thoughts become louder with fear, stress, and overthinking, and you wonder if life will ever change. But hear this clearly. God has not forgotten you, not even for 1 second. Every tear you cried alone, he saw it. Every silent prayer whispered into the darkness, he heard it. The Bible says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." Not far away, but close, especially during painful seasons. A little boy once asked his grandfather why God allows hard times in life. The grandfather smiled and took him outside during winter. Pointing at the trees, he asked, "Do they look dead to you?" The boy nodded yes, but the grandfather quietly replied, "No, they are preparing for spring." Maybe your life feels like winter right now, cold, silent, and lonely, but your story is not over. This painful season may actually be preparing you for something beautiful you cannot yet see. Some of God's greatest miracles happen after the hardest nights. One unexpected phone call can change your future. One opportunity can rebuild your life, and one moment can heal years of pain. God's timing may feel slow, but it is never wrong. So tonight, before you sleep, stop carrying everything alone and talk to God honestly. You do not need perfect religious words. Just speak from your heart. Say, God, I'm tired. God, I'm scared. God, I need you. One sincere prayer can change everything. Never forget that the chapter you are living right now is not the ending of your story. Healing is possible, peace is possible, and joy is possible again. Maybe this difficult season is only the beginning of the beautiful life God is preparing for